Welcome back to the Last Week This Week podcast, episode 27. I'm Ian Scott.
And I'm his co-host, Zack Huber.
And this is the podcast where we talk about some nerd culture stuff from the past week and this week. And you can probably notice that we aren't in the studio this week. No big deal. We just had some scheduling problems, and we'll probably be back next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a bunch of things to go over with you guys. Some reviews.
Two big superhero reviews.
Yeah. We had Secret Invasion come out this week on Disney Plus, and
we watched The Flash.
We did.
We also are going to talk about the Kraven trailer that just dropped from Sony,
and the Zoey 102 trailer that just dropped from Paramount,
and lastly, the Avatar first look images.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there was a little teaser too.
And we have our hypothetical, which you can all find in time codes.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to start with our Flash review.
Yeah.
Which I would like to preface right off from the start that both Ian and I do not approve of any of the Ezra behavior. The way that I feel about this movie is that all of the Ezra behavior
happened beforehand.
Had happened after the movie
was
that's
made.
What
I mean. Yeah, right.
And that I see the movie as more than just the Ezra Miller project.
Right, because hundreds of people worked on this movie.
Yes.
It's all of their contributions, and I feel like we should honor that still.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important, just in general, if we're going to, have this podcast, have commentary, know what's going on maybe in the new DCU.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
This is
right.
Seemingly maybe an important movie to talk about.
It's somewhat our job at this point.
Yes.
So,
but with that being said, regardless of how you feel, I understand, but that's how we feel. Yeah, I guess.
And we're going to start with some non-spoiler stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, you want to go ahead?
Non-spoiler, I guess my general impression is I really, really, really like this movie.
Yeah.
I was telling Ian before we were when we were sitting in the seats, I was just like, I don't remember the last time I was this excited, because I was really excited to see Across the Spider-Verse.
I mean, for me, it was Guardians 3, which was just a couple months ago.
Sure.
But yeah.
And I was excited to see that, but there's something about this movie with all the good things I've heard about
all the build up,
and
years of waiting.
Yeah. And Ian was even like, I was driving over and I can't believe I'm actually seeing this thing.
I was just so excited on the drive here. Yeah.
I think overall, is it the best movie I've seen this year?
No.
Probably not. But I think I don't understand the amount of division. I don't know if a lot of that's caused by
Ezra Miller stuff,
just having kind of a bias towards that, or if there's general complaints. But I mean, I don't know. I thought it was really great.
For me, a lot of it feels like just exaggerated backlash. I think the reactions to all the CGI are just out of proportion.
I agree.
I think yes, there are some moments in the movie where the CGI just it doesn't look good, but it's not the majority of it. It's not even that big of a minority piece of the movie. It's just every here and there you can see some CGI where you wish it was a little cleaner. But it's really not. It doesn't hinder from the movie for me that much.
Yeah, I would like to touch on that when we get to it, the spoilery section.
And I was seeing some reviews that were basically kind of dogging Ezra Miller's performance and just the way the Flash is and how he moves through the world and whatnot. And I'm if you didn't like him in Justice League, you're not gonna like the Barry that's in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's very much the same Barry. But I like that version. I like how he runs. I like how he acts,
Were the critiques he's not funny?
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard one that was there's two Ezra Millers in this movie and they're both annoying, and I'm
I agree, but I think what was really great about this movie with the two Barrys was the older Barry was wow, I was so fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And in a way, he started to get like
he was starting to mature throughout the movie, right?
And what I also really love about this movie is that it kind of is like a Flash origin movie.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I love,
in a way,
but like I love how we got to see how he became Flash, but we didn't.
The lab was perfect. It was like exactly as I saw it in the comics and envisioned in my head. I was like, this is it. This is what I want the Central City lab to be. Yeah.
That's cool.
Sorry. I guess.
But with regards to the critiques that Ezra Miller or like the Barry character was getting, I guess if you didn't like it to begin with, you're not gonna like this movie. I don't know.
To me, that was like the best thing about Justice League was Barry / Flash. You know, I thought he was genuinely. I was so happy with his performance, and the suit and the way he ran. I was like, you know, it's all a bit different, but I like this version of it. You know,
I did like it.
Yeah,
This movie made me like the running he does.
Okay.
But beforehand, I wasn't crazy about the running.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I don't know what somebody at the speed of light would
look like.
Would run like.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Like, I think it's inspired. I think, you know, they went with it. It's cool.
I think it is. Yeah. So I think now we can get into some spoiler territory.
Yeah. So spoilers, I would like to start with some of the negatives first before I get into my positives, because I have a lot of positives.
Yeah.
My negatives, to touch on the CGI part.
Yeah.
It really didn't bother me, like really at all. I mean, there were times where I thought it would have been nice to have it a bit cleaner. Like when I was talking to you about the babies and that whole intro scene, some of it was a bit weird, but like, were they gonna have actual babies? Like,
no, but they weren't going to be actual babies falling out of the sky, and there was a lot of movement, so you couldn't just like, you know, place a real baby like post edit. I don't know. I don't think it would have worked.
And I thought the idea of that intro scene with that creative like east side of the hospital falling down and what Barry had to do, I think the creativeness of it and how funny and absurd it was really like made up for whatever was lacking
visually, right?
But I think what most people's critiques are is when he's in the chronosphere and everything that's going on with that.
You know, it didn't bother me at all. Like,
it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
But what I would have, it didn't bother me. It really didn't. But what I have heard that is maybe if they went even more stylized with it, instead of making it like this halfway thing.
Where they're like renders and not actual scenes.
Yeah, like maybe if they went really stylized with it, where it was like very clear that it wasn't supposed to, like people wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
But
now people think they're trying to be realistic when I don't think they really were.
But I think it was close enough to, you know, like in Man of Steel, where they would have the faces talk through the Kryptonian like robots, and they would do the like, this is what happened on Krypton, and the images would move. Like, it reminded me of stuff like that. And it like, it was a little weird, but like, I don't like we were discussing, like, this movie has a lot of CGI, and I don't necessarily know how you would do the chronosphere, like look at all these scenes back in time and do it over and over again. And they're like multiple things like in this, I don't even know what kind of pattern that is. Where
I don't even know how you would manage to do that with real scenes. You know? Yeah. So,
but like you were saying, with like the one thing about the chronosphere / that whole CGI thing that was a bit jarring was, I understand why they did the George Reeves, the Christopher Reeves, the Adam West.
Yeah.
But they did have Nick Cage on set, and it was
that's to
my
fit
with
thing.
Like the like if he was the only one that looked real-ish,
right?
Like maybe
then you would make him a little more CGI to match everyone else, but like everyone
almost looked like more CGI, which was strange.
He was the most CGI looking to me. That's look. I think it's a very cool scene because Nicolas Cage, like, you get to see kind of like a scene from what the movie would have been. Like, from, I guess, we know that the movie, he would have fought like this giant robot alien spider. And like the fact that he got to fight one is very cool, but like he just looked so much worse than like Christopher Reeve Superman.
Yeah.
Like I thought he looked great. And I wasn't excited to see that character, like, and I had said before that, like, even seeing the movie, that like these big cameos aren't going to mean much to me because they're just like CGI added in, versions that are not like the real actors playing them, right? And to me, like, I think it would mean more if we got just actors who had played these characters. Like Marvel had done it with the Spider-Man, and they have a ton of characters to pull from. Maybe it's just that they don't have a lot of recent DC movies that aren't like Batman or Superman.
I think it would be confusing to kind of have like the Superman and Lois Superman to show up.
Sure.
Or like Christian Bale's Batman, or
yeah, right. But I don't know. To me,
actually, the Christian Bale Batman
that works because it was
cool.
such a big. But I don't think he would have wanted to be in this movie.
I don't think so.
But yeah, I think the scene, like, where they're all like colliding and you get to see everything, like, I think that is like, that's fine. Did we need all the extended scenes of cameos? No. But like, I was fine seeing like, Adam West just running across like the chronosphere that was like, colliding into another chrono. Like that was fine for me, and I think it showed what the chronospheres like were well.
Yeah. And I liked seeing the, like, I forget the name of the first Flash, but in the black and white.
Yeah.
Like, that was really cool. I know some people have an issue with the George Reeves cameo, but like, I would just like some more clarification. Like, did they get okay from the estate, or did they were like, I think we can just push it? Because if they can just push it, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But
even then,
we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like more information
maybe
about
the estate
that.
wanted him to appear. I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, but generally, I think it was cool that we got like a black and white, like old age DC world. And it was.
I think all of them were it felt very respectful.
Yeah.
And very cool.
But yeah, I mean, besides the Chronosphere stuff, I think this Flash story kicks ass. Like, it's such a well done Flash story that is quite different from like Flashpoint Paradox. Like, I mean, first off, the intro to this whole movie is amazing. I think him getting that call from Bruce and
Alfred.
And that, sure, but Alfred patched him into Bruce. So yes, okay. But him,
the candy bar.
Yeah, and then him. Yeah, I love the little details, like him having to up his calorie intake to be able to run is great. I loved the music that played when he just bulleted from Central City to Gotham.
God, that was
such a great scene.
I loved that you got to feel the speed.
My mouth was agape. I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. Yeah.
It was really rad.
And yeah, I think it was like hitting me at the very beginning that I was like, we've gotten a lot of cool like speedster scenes over the years for different characters, but the fact
notably Quicksilver.
Right, Quicksilver and Makari from
but Makari didn't really have anything.
She had some decent movement, and I think I
think her running scenes were done. Like, I feel like you felt the force of the run with her, but I don't think there was anything like.
Yeah, and then there was also like one of Zod's, like the woman's.
Feora.
Yeah, she had some really good speed.
Sure.
So yeah, but like we had just so many action scenes where like he was so creative with what he was doing. Like you mentioned it with the the hospital and all the babies falling. There was like he was like strategically maneuvering them to all fall in a line so that they would all land on this like gurney. And it was
he just ate a bunch of food before he even did all of that.
Right. Another taking in calories to up your energy. And it was, I mean, that's just what you want for like the little details from Flash. Like we got the Flash ring and soon after we got him like starting to phase through walls. Like Iris West came over and he was just like, okay, gonna face through this wall and get some beers from my apartment next door, like the apartment next door.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. Just drop in these little like things that Flash can do, because like he is a fully formed superhero, and there has been time between this and Justice League. So yeah, I think all of that was great. And yeah, and then like merging into the story where, you know, it's the day before his dad's court date, and he gets, you know, emotional about what happened to his parents, and he's like, you know what, screw it. I'm running as fast as I can. I know I can go back in time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the whole story from there is just, I think it's pretty wonderful.
Yeah. As soon as it got to the court, the phone call with his dad,
Yeah.
I like realized what the movie was.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I got it. And like, I was emotionally invested.
Absolutely.
I think before I go like into anything else, the one other negative I do have before anything else is very small, but there did seem to be early on this like, you're always late, Barry.
No, but that's another, like, I feel like comic trope, at least, where it's like the fastest man in the world's always late, you know? And,
Right.
I like that trope for him.
No, I'm down with that. It's more of like, it felt like they were like him with his boss, like, you should be doing more by now. And like, I thought that they were gonna like go into that of his like his work life a bit more, but it seemed like, oh, okay, well, he's just struggling at work,
right? Yeah,
and that was about it.
Yeah,
and I was kind of bummed out because I was like, well,
but I think
what was the point?
It builds out his life, you know.
It's a small thing, but I kind of wanted,
because I think it was important to see like what his job was, because that, like, it's very inspired by what happened to him as a kid, you know.
I agree. I just thought it was weird to make it a whole scene, a whole thing. Yeah. But regardless of that, as soon as he, to me, it was a really great wrap up to like him like are already saying like, I'm running late to the barista, and then like he you know, does the whole superhero mission in like 3 minutes, comes back to the barista, and he's like, was that long enough? And then, you know, I don't know. I feel like he's still late, or, you know, like this. Yeah, I don't know. I think it wrapped up really well, that whole thing. Right. But yeah, sorry. But yeah, I mean, him going back in time, him dealing with his other self is, they feel like the two Barrys feel like completely fully formed different characters.
Yeah, and I believe that he progressed from this younger version to what he is now, you know.
And like I was saying, getting that kind of origin story, but not was just wonderful.
I think it was too. Yeah,
just to see it that way, I thought it was extremely creative.
Implement it into a new story where it just is explained in it. It's great. I will say, you know, one thing with him traveling back and forth in time and getting to this point where he's met himself, the reveal of Dark Flash was amazing. I thought, like, basically Barry fixes, you know, he thinks he's fixed the timeline where he saves both his parents, and then he's running back to you know, his current day, and midway through, this like dark being just out of like the corner of the chronosphere just starts like running down the chronosphere and just beats him into, I guess, what is,
just knocks him into that timeline.
Basically, that timeline where it's like a few days or like a couple days away from Zod's invasion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think his reveal was great. And then I guess I do have like a small complaint with like Keaton's Batman, but I love, you know, the fact that, you know, young Barry's geeking out the entire time about Batman.
Yes.
And I do love like the action that Keaton did, because you know, even when he wasn't in the bat suit, like that fight in the kitchen was great.
Yeah.
And
I don't think most of that was Michael, though.
No, for sure. No.
Yeah.
But
I think they purposefully had all that hair in his face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can believe that. But, you know, and I think my like one weird complaint is, Barry's like, well, we're trying to save this universe because my mom's in it. And Bruce is like, well, actually, you think time changes this way, but actually it changes this way.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know if Bruce would know all that, but it's very plausible. He's very smart.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. I
don't know if I don't know. That'd be interesting. Like maybe it's just Barry's not, he's really smart about things, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's extremely intelligent about, time and the physics of all that. Maybe Bruce is like, no, I don't know.
I figured this stuff out years ago. Yeah,
like, it's something I do in my it's a hobby of mine. I don't. Sure, but it was like I said to Ian, it explains a multiverse way really better than fucking the MCU has at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to say everything with Michael Keaton's Batman, and I mean everything. I don't care if like you were like, oh, he didn't have to say the "you want to get nuts" thing. I fucking loved it.
That was great. Yeah,
I love his action. I love just the Danny Elfman score. There's just so much.
I thought there was a lot more like real depth there than like maybe not everything we had seen from his like first two movies, but like when he was really talking about his parents, like I really felt it. Like I can't recall those kind of scenes like in his original movies.
Yeah, there was a good amount of emotional depth, especially like when he dies the like last time. He's like, not this time.
But oh my gosh, I loved that too, because it was like that's also like it's a small line, but like that's like a point that always crosses too, where like Batman says that to Barry, right? Because he Bruce said it in the original timeline to Barry.
Did he? When?
Yeah, remember like Bruce was like, well, I'm it made me lonely, and Barry's like, well, we can hang out, and Bruce was like, not this time.
Yeah, that's I appreciate that. That's
absolutely
pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I had a smile on my face. Like it was so cool seeing Michael Keaton's Batman fly that Batwing and it just go into the moon, and it was just so badass.
Everything was so great.
And then Sasha Calle was incredible, I thought, as Supergirl.
Yeah. I think I was a little like weirded out by her like originally, because they like she was like, well, the humans have fucked me over. I'm done, and then she sees like immediately she sees Zod kill some people, and she's like, oh, I didn't want that. And I'm like, well, what did you think was gonna happen? Because she was like, no, billions of people are going to die. I was like, well, you knew this. You knew he was going to start killing people. What changed? But I don't know. I think it was, you can really only explain it by the fact that like she really didn't grasp it until she started seeing people die.
I can't remember if she saw it. I guess she did see it.
Yeah. And then she went back to Barry.
Yeah. Maybe she was. I don't think she went back at all. I think she was like she stayed there and fought.
No,
him.
Remember, because she like revived. She flew Barry up into the sky when he was getting his powers back.
Oh,
yeah, she didn't stay there.
Oh,
and they had a whole talk where she was like, "No, okay, I believe you." And
then maybe I can't remember. Maybe you're right, and she said like billions will die, and then she saw it, or maybe she saw it and then said it. I can't quite remember.
I think I'm right, but yeah, I don't know.
Right.
It wasn't. It's not like a huge detractor, because.
But I thought she had like I thought her character was great, and
agreed,
I thought
she realizes,
Well, I just think like from like everything with her, I just thought was great, and I thought her like embodiment of this character, which we haven't really seen before, was really great.
Agreed.
And I thought her action scenes were dope.
Yeah, I mean, even our first one, where like you start to see the sun cast over her, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is. Yeah, it's what you want from a Superman / Supergirl character.
Yeah, she was so cool. I kind of want the Barbie of her.
Yeah, and I loved her emotion of her learning when like when Zod says, "Oh, the infant didn't survive." Like just her emotion from that was amazing.
Scene was incredible.
So
her anger is just.
I would love to see more of that character.
I would too, but sadly I don't think that's going to happen.
Maybe she did say she had a meeting with Peter Safran about her future, but I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. So
yeah, I don't know, because I guess we can kind of get into some of that. I don't feel like I guess there's like nitpicks like here and there of like, and I think for the sake of the movie, like it would hinder the movie to see like Kara have a hard time, learning how to fight. Because it took fucking Clark like a long ass time, and there's all the like young Barry starts running back in time, and he's literally just gotten his powers.
We don't know if they allowed her to like test her powers before like trapping her in that bubble,
but with young Barry, he just starts running back in time. He's never So like there's like small things like that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the most important things that we should definitely mention is the whole multiverse. What everything that Barry does in this movie leads up to what it means for the future of DC. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it real quick, the one thing that I really love about this movie is it doesn't necessarily end with a big fight scene.
Yeah.
The ending is like just an emotional punch where he's basically having to kill his mom.
Well, also before that, it's a reveal that, basically all of Barry's actions throughout this movie have drove young Barry to kind of like snap and be like, no, I have to save everybody.
Yeah.
And at that point you learn that, he's the one who's turned into Dark Flash.
Right.
And
which
so,
I predicted.
Yeah, you did. And I was always a fan of that theory. And I thought that was going to be the case, but I love that moment too, where like young Barry's like, oh, this isn't what I wanted, and so he saves his older self by sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
So that was all great. Yeah, and then it was that emotional where it was like Barry had to inevitably not save his mom, which was such a beautiful scene. It was so beautiful.
I was having I was getting really choked up.
Yeah,
like it was really good. It was really well done. Like there's a lot of heart and emotion in this movie.
I almost thought that she was pulling like the mom was pulling like Thor's mom, where she knew in game, but I don't think she did.
No way.
Yeah,
no way at all. Yeah. That would be insane.
That would be.
I would hate that so much.
But there was just something like when she looked at him. It was just so so personal,
But I think that's like one of those things that you're like, wow, my mom just to a complete stranger was like this loving.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
You know.
Oh, that makes me emotional. Jeez. Yeah, so
but with I think just for like to try to wrap it up. With the larger DCU connections, it's
still very vague.
Yeah.
To put it lightly. I mean, basically, the movie ends where, the Batman in his universe is George Clooney, and which is very cool reveal. I was very happy about it, even though it was a horrible Batman, I think.
But
I think it's cool. Yeah.
Here's two things. Does anybody think that George Clooney's actually going to be the Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
No.
So,
right. And
then there's that post-credit scene with Aquaman, which
we had a little debate about.
Which I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
I've seen people talk about this.
Where they think like he's universe hopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like my thought is that he was talking to Jason Momoa or Arthur, Aquaman, and was like, yeah, in all these other universes, it was, like Batman, Bruce was a different guy.
Right.
But you were kind of like the same sort of thing, like same sort of guy. He's like, oh, I'm just the same fun-loving, like hairy, like dog or whatever.
Right.
And that to me implies that he's since that George Clooney appearance had been hopping around
because he was like, oh, this isn't the right one. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But it would seem to me that like through because maybe he went back in time and like had to make sure that his dad stays in jail or something.
I think he did. Unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer, but
or something happens. But whatever, the fact that his mom's dead, somehow that means that Arthur is now always Momoa. I'm guessing
maybe,
and so that's why I'm like, maybe Aquaman 2, like he'll still stay as Aquaman.
That's what it mean. Like the way they've set their universe, where they're like the universe reset is after, like right after the Flash. That means Aquaman is in this universe. If Blue Beetle is, then Aquaman is. But
Blue Beetle's so separate that like we were saying, like I think Blue Beetle, like the character might stay, but who knows about the
movie, right?
But I think because I don't think they're gonna have Ezra stay as the Flash.
No, I don't think so either.
So my thought is maybe the way that the multiverse is explained in here is like, yeah, there's a bunch of intercrossing points that have to happen.
Right.
But maybe we're just like gonna transfer over and it's like, yeah, we're just on a timeline where
these things are just different now.
Things are just different. Some of them are the same.
Right.
Some
like
of them,
Peacemaker and Amanda Waller would be the same.
Yeah.
But
which is what if I had to guess, that's what they're doing. Because if they're James has said
it's a neat way that like they've naturally explained the multiverse, and it's a good way to just kind of be like, yeah, things are different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're having Peacemaker 2,
right,
which seems like it's happening, and if you have Waller and it's all being played by Viola Davis, like, and you're gonna have Creature Commandos. I mean, I think that's what I'm leaning towards is probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna be like, yeah, this is universe blah blah blah, and DCU is universe this, and
for sure.
Ever since the Flash, like
now
we
we're
have
in
the
this
multiverse,
universe, right?
You know, where all these different timelines.
Or we know about the multiverse. I guess they always existed, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Multiverse stuff is just a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot.
But yeah, that's I think our review on the Flash.
Yeah, I really loved it. I really had an amazing time with it.
Yeah.
It was really funny. The action was incredible and inventive and creative, and for the most part, like I can't believe that this movie exists. Yeah, and I couldn't be happier. Like I really had a great time. Well, maybe I could be happier.
I could be a little happier probably, but I'm pretty happy.
I'm pretty amazed that there's a Flash movie, and
finally,
and we get Michael Keaton's Batman.
It took so long. Yeah.
Yeah, and Andy Muschietti, like I'm super excited to see him do Brave and the Bold.
Me too. After all that Batman,
he did a super great job. Like it was amazing.
Absolutely,
it was really good.
Yeah. So yeah, now we are going to review the first episode of Secret Invasion.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that was like a 54-minute episode. I wasn't expecting it to be that long.
It was probably like with the credits, probably like 40-ish, 48 minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking?
So when I first watched it, I was kind of like, yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. And then I started to think about things a bit more, and I'm not crazy about it. Yeah. Honestly, I have, there's things that I really like about it that I'll briefly mention. I love the dynamic and the relationship between Talos and his daughter.
Yeah, those scenes, all those scenes, they were really good.
His wanting everything with Ben Mendelsohn's Talos, is great. Yeah. The intro scene with Martin Freeman and this guy who's like going fucking crazy and thinks that he's a Skrull.
The guy who was going crazy for me was, I mean, I watched it with my friend Manny. Yeah. And we were like every time this guy spoke, we were laughing because he was almost like he was overacting. He was like, it was just. Yeah, I definitely feel that. But it was so distracting for me. Yeah. I kind of liked it. Yeah. But like, I totally see that for sure. Like, and I think that's part of what I have a problem with
with this episode and what this series is in general, because it's just like Nick Fury's been away for
years,
a long time, a while now, and then he
Maria Hill had said that she hadn't heard from him in like minimal contact in like the last 3 years, right? Or like the last few years, yeah.
And he comes back down, and he's just kind of like, hey, what's up? Like, how's everybody doing? Like, I'm gonna go. Hey, there's like this problem with some scrolls, maybe. Yeah, he's just so like, the tone with him, and then this Sophia character, and he like walks in, he's like, let me just put on this record player, and like, it's just this weird,
like he's not.
I needed it to be a bit more serious, and also I don't exactly fuck with the fact that he's been gone for a long ass time and supposedly changed after this Thanos incident. And I don't feel like you can just plop me and Nick Fury into this ongoing thing where like I feel like I'm playing catch up, and he's just like it just there's so much I'm missing, and I need like it everything like in this episode just happened so fast, and resulting in spoilers. Maria Hill just dying at the end, which ballsy, and I like that. I like that she, but there's so much that happened in this episode, and so little development with anybody except like Talos and his daughter. I just think there's a weird tone, and for the most part, I like the tone. I like when it gets more serious. It's just some of these like Marvelisms where like they try to keep it light, and it doesn't work for me.
I think the bummer, like initially, is like I feel like they kind of wasted Martin Freeman's character, like Ross, because
that was a brutal, like when he hits his face against the and then falls. That was pretty brutal.
It was, and I was like, no way he survived that. But then he did, and I was like, oh, he's a Skrull. Like there's no way he's not. And I think it's a good scene only for the fact that like it shows us that any of Nick's allies could be a Skrull at any time, right?
Sure.
But I just think like that was the entire point of the scene, and like maybe.
Well, you learned that there's this big bomb thing going that's gonna like start this war between Russia and US.
You're not wrong.
It set that up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It did set that up. I don't know. I guess I would have wanted more from that character. And same with Maria Hill. Like
there was not a lot.
Saying
there just was like to have. That's what was frustrating about the Maria Hill death.
Yeah,
was there was so little of her in the episode.
Like we've got,
and like you would have. Why don't just kill her to kill her?
Yeah,
which is what it felt like. I want you to kill somebody and them to stay dead and it have emotional weight, which I have no doubt that it will for Nick. But like nothing in this episode made you feel like they were having this like emotional connection. Like she just was mad at mad at him.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know.
For me, she like Martin Freeman's character in the MCU has gotten more development in his 2 movies than she did since Avengers. And was she in movies before Avengers? I don't think she was. Okay. So like
maybe Thor, but that's it.
Maybe. And for me, no, because Coulson was in Thor. She wasn't in it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she was only in Avengers.
But yeah, like she's I was saying to Manny during watching it, like she is the longest tenured Marvel character with basically zero depth. Like she has always been Nick Fury's side character. We know zero about her personal life.
I thought the reason that she was in this show was like she was gonna take because in the comics she takes over Shield. Like I thought we were finally gonna get this Maria Hill like leader of Shield, like sort of or whatever.
Right, leader of Saber maybe or
like,
Sword.
I thought we were gonna get some cool Maria Hill shit, and they just killed her off.
Yeah, because she had said, "Oh, this is the most depth I've had, to give my character throughout the entire run."
Which
and I'm
is
like,
what?
Yeah, like what? That you're angry at Nick Fury? That's depth for you, I guess.
Not, and I'm not like criticizing the actress. I'm just saying, like, because I don't think they gave her much to work with.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I don't know. I think
like the idea of this show being like this paranoid thing. I love that.
I do too.
I love the CGI looks great.
It does. Yeah.
The action was pretty great.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I like that there's this scroll compound.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of great things.
Right.
But every single time Nick Fury's on, I'm not every single time. Sometimes it's quite good. But I just like, I'm like, you can't expect me to just like, oh, Nick Fury's back and now we're going to do this thing. And
right.
like, I felt like I needed like, I wish like this episode had more time to breathe and we didn't get to this bomb thing just yet. Like it felt so rushed. Like why couldn't we have this like build up and like,
right.
Like
then maybe next
really
episode is like all about
stopping the bomb.
Right. Yeah.
Because like it just felt like we just like, go, and I don't know. It was.
I do think though the reveal at the end where the bomb, it like does go off, and like he like technically he like shoots Maria.
Yeah.
I
Which I think was kind of fucking cheap.
What do you mean?
Like not cheap, but just like. It feels so dirty. Like, I don't know.
Like for me,
it feels you got like a scroll. Like, it's like, I don't know. Why would you pull that on somebody, like on the audience to have like Nick Fury, but he's a scroll, shoot Maria? Like, Nick would never fucking do that. Like, so like you immediately know that's a scroll. Like, I immediately was like, oh, that's a scroll.
But, well, here's the thing. I guess for me,
what's the point of having?
For me, that scene, like, it confused me at first because I was like, "Oh my god, did he figure out that Marie is a scroll?" That's what I thought at first.
Yeah, but, I mean, I for sure, I see that.
Yeah,
I just.
But yeah, no, I get. But like, yeah, you're upset.
But like, then you've learned, like, she's not.
Sure. And
like immediately,
that was kind of heartbreaking that she's like, "It was you." I was like, "Oh no, don't think it was him." Yeah, I
hope we see more of her in like flashbacks or something.
That'd be nice. Maybe. Well, but here's the thing. I was saying to you before the podcast that both Martin Freeman and Kobe Smulders were special guest stars in this episode,
right?
Probably meaning they won't show back up, but who knows? 5 more episodes to go.
I sound a lot more negative, but I think I
just kind of wish it had built up into like the reveals that Martin Freeman was a Skrull and then Maria Hill, maybe she was a Skrull too. I guess I wanted these big allies of him to be built up into Skrulls, but now all his allies are gone,
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Things just are going way too fast. And
I'll agree with you a little bit there. Yeah.
I just generally, it just felt like kind of lackluster spy show, And I want to also mention the I felt kind of conflicted about the title sequence.
Because totally.
When I was watching it,
it kind of sucks.
Well, interesting because when I watched it, I had no idea that it was AI generated. I didn't read that. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh wow, this is cool. Like I was like, I like this. And then so like I was like, wow, this is really dope. And then I learned it was AI generated. And I was like, okay, I don't know how to feel about this because I actually really liked the intro. Like I thought it was
because I guess maybe
I mean, looking
I probably
back
had
at
a
it
bias,
now, like it does look very AI generated.
Very AI generated, yeah.
But and that's the thing, like if I would have, because now I just look at it, now that I know it's AI generated, and I just go, well, that seems kind of lazy.
It genuinely kind of makes me like uncomfortable. Like, I don't know, like just all like the entire sequence not made by a real person. Like, I don't know what it is. It's something that just didn't sit right while watching it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. It is. I don't know how to feel about it either.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe I would have felt different if I didn't know it was AI either, right?
Because when I first saw it, I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But now that I know that, I'm like,
yeah,
I feel weird, you know?
Yeah, I feel it. So yeah, we're probably going to be reviewing this every week.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets better for me.
Hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad, but I don't think it was great either. But I'm definitely not as negative as you are.
I give it like a 5.
Wow.
Out of 10.
Wow. I would probably say a 7 at this point. I don't think it's bad, but
I'm just like half with it.
Yeah.
Half of it I like, half of it I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go do our hypothetical now. This was Zach's hypothetical this week.
Yeah. So basically, our hypothetical, if you've never listened to the podcast before, is we take just an idea, a hypothetical, or like, what if you were in charge of this, what would you do? And so this week, in honor of the Flash and being able to get all these different multiverses of characters, I was saying, what actors would you want to have for your Justice League in this alternate universe? I'll ask you first, and then I'll get to mine.
So for me, I have some interesting picks. I think maybe some you wouldn't see coming. But I will say I didn't go for a cyborg character.
Me either.
Because there's been one, I will say, like, one live action that I like. Yes, Doom Patrol has one, but I'm not like the biggest fan of that actor in that portrayal. Maybe I'll feel different if I see Doom Patrol. But yeah, so starting off with Superman, I want Brandon Roth. That's
who?
The guy who played Superman in Superman Returns in the late 2000s.
Oh, okay.
He came back, I think, for Crisis on Infinite Earths and
he did.
in the CW Arrowverse. But I really liked that movie as a kid, and to me that's like the first Superman for me. And
yeah, that was mine too.
And I have a special place in my heart for that. So I would have loved to see him personally in the Flash.
That would have been cool. Yeah,
more than any other Superman, to be honest. But yeah, and then going to Batman, I want Jeffrey Dean Morgan Batman. And I know that never happened, but I think, like, you know, the original Flashpoint Paradox is an animated movie, and it you know, when he goes back in time and comes back, he, like, his universe is Batman as Thomas Wayne, and he's a much more brutal and I think he does kill as well, Batman. Yeah, and so that version would have been
honest,
great.
Almost every Batman on screen has killed people.
Sure. But you know, we got Jeffrey Dean Morgan set up in the original Batman v Superman movie.
Yeah.
And I love that actor. I think he's one of my favorite actors, and I think he would have killed it as a dark Batman.
I agree.
Third, I would say, what are the others? So I just did Linda Carter for Wonder Woman. I was like, classic Wonder Woman. I'm bummed she didn't get to be in the Flash, because
that would have been cool. She's still around.
Yeah, she's still, like, she could have easily, and she was in Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
So she still looks good enough, I think, to pull off an older woman Flash.
Yeah.
Let's see the others I wrote down here. Yeah, that's right. So another deep kind of pick for Aquaman, I'm doing Alan Ritchson.
I don't know who that is.
So I might have pronounced his name wrong, but that's who played Hawk. And so, and I think he's great as Jack Reacher in the Reacher show.
Mm-hmm.
But I recently remembered and saw that he was the original Aquaman on Smallville.
Okay.
And so I saw some scenes from that episode, and he appeared in a couple other episodes before the series ended. And he was supposed to get his own spin-off show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That first episode he was in was like a secret pilot for Aquaman, and it was like the highest rated episode of that season.
That's cool.
So yeah, I think he was kind of like a cool kind of,
you
like,
sold
edgy,
me on that one.
Edgy Aquaman.
Yeah, you sold me on that one.
And then last, it's hard for me to decide this one, but I did Green Lantern, and I think I'm gonna do Wayne T. Carr Green Lantern, the version we never got to see in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay.
That's who the actor who was going to play.
Okay.
And I would just be curious to see that performance.
Mm-hmm.
My other, I was struggling to pick between him and Bradley Cooper because he was like the director's number one choice to play Green Lantern, the one that Ryan Reynolds did.
Yeah.
But apparently negotiations fell through because Bradley Cooper's asking price was too high.
Would have been an interesting Green Lantern.
So either of those I'd be okay with, but that's my multiversal Justice League.
Interesting. I went in a in kind of, I have it on my laptop, so I have to move my mic.
Okay.
But this hypothetically could have happened in the 90s. So all these actors from when they were in the 90s are who I would want in the Justice League.
Okay.
So Wonder Woman, Angelina Jolie.
Okay. That's a neat one. I think that would work.
I think that would absolutely work.
Yeah.
She was great in Salt. She can obviously do action. She was great in, what was it? Her and Brad Pitt were like the wife and husband who are also like spies.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something.
Yeah, I've seen that, I think.
I think she would be a good Wonder Woman. It was either her or the woman who plays the lead actress in the Resident Evil franchise, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
And Angelina Jolie was Laura Croft, right? So I think she would.
Yes,
I think she could pull it off.
Agreed.
This one, I don't know why it felt inspired. Val Kilmer as Aquaman.
Not as Batman?
No.
He played Batman.
I don't care. I'm saying, okay, this is a multiverse. I'm saying,
yeah. So you're casting people in your own roles.
Yes.
Okay.
But also, this could hypothetically happen.
Sure.
In another timeline.
Yeah.
He didn't play Batman, or this is after he played Batman, or before he played Batman. I don't care.
Sure.
I think he could be a good Arthur Curry. He would be like a Boy Scout kind of, or he doesn't even have to be a boy. He'd just be like that, like hot Aquaman, and he's just like a scoundrel or something. You know, he's kind of his Iceman character.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's almost kind of how Alan Ritchson played that Aquaman.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nick Cage is Superman. I kept that one.
Okay.
I want to see that.
Sure.
I'd love to see what that would look like with all these pairings.
With him actually playing him, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Keanu Reeves, Batman.
Okay. I think Keanu Reeves voiced Batman in like DC's League of Super Pets, I think.
Yes, he did.
So that's a neat pick. Yeah.
Green Lantern. John Stewart Green Lantern.
Okay.
Denzel Washington.
Okay. I can see that.
If you look up 90s Denzel Washington, there is a specific picture with him in a goatee.
It just looks like
he could. I think he could totally do it.
Okay.
And lastly, for Flash, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Okay. I could see that. Yeah. Yeah.
He was a big name. He'd be the youngest member on the team for the most part.
For sure.
And I think
I'm struggling to remember what he looks like in the 90s.
Just think like Dead Poets Society, maybe a bit older.
Okay.
But I think he would bring like levity that you need with that role. And he's enough of like, I don't know, from seeing his movies, he's enough of that like playful but not too playful, where like he still has like a seriousness to him.
Yeah.
That I think people criticize like the Barry Allen of this,
being
DCU.
Too playful. Yeah.
But I think that's a pretty
star-studded cast.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, you need your Justice League to be star-studded. So I was like,
Sure.
That would be a cool lineup.
Yeah. I've seen people do that too with like the Marvel's Avengers, where they like have a bunch of 90s actors, and it's like, what if Marvel was in the 90s?
Exactly. Okay, so that's kind of pretty much what I did.
Nice. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's our hypothetical this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think next we wanted to go through our trailers that came out.
Yep.
So yeah, in line with some superhero stuff, we got the Kraven the Hunter trailer.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the action throughout looked great.
Yeah.
Even though we'll get into that. Even though I don't like some things about his origin, I like the fact that he feels like an animal. Like he's this monster who's just gonna like rip your fucking face off. And
if they don't play 3 Days Grace's like animal, I'll lose my shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we both had a weird problem with how he gets lion blood in his blood.
Yeah, come on, man. Like,
isn't it in the comics that he like has to keep drinking like this thing he's like made, or like this potion or whatever?
Maybe, but and maybe that's true. I don't know. In my experience with Kraven, he's just like the world's best hunter.
Yeah.
You know? He's just excelled at everything.
Right.
And you know,
gosh, and they gave him like the lion eyes at first. I was like, oh no.
Like when I saw that, like I just cringed so much because I'm imagining myself as like just a normal moviegoer audience,
right?
And it's just like he just got normal lion blood in him. As far as we know,
that's it.
That is a normal lion.
Yeah, it's not like it's a radioactive spider. Yeah,
and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me?
Yeah.
Like that's when I would be like, okay, I'm checking out. And like, and if this was not like a superhero movie, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that a problem though? That this is a superhero movie? Like, I hate the fact that Kraven is being turned into a hero, or maybe
anti-hero.
At the least an anti-hero.
I mean, I don't even know. Like he seems more villainous.
Here's the thing. Yes, he is like killing people in a very brutal way, but he like, you know, his whole thing. He was talking to somebody in the trailer, and he was like, well, my whole thing is like my dad brings evil into the world and I take it out. And there was another line in there I'm struggling to remember, but like they really made it seem like he was only doing this to kill like the bad guys. And I was like,
stuff with his dad particularly.
Sure.
Which like, if I had to guess, he's gonna kill his dad in this movie. That'll be the end of the movie.
Sure. Yeah, Russell Crowe's too big of a actor to just be his like backflash dad, you know?
Yeah. And
yeah.
Also, small thing. Why can't he have the Russian accent? You know what I mean?
Yeah, his dad had a Russian accent.
Like, he just got this normal. Like, he's just a dude.
Yeah, his voice I was a little bummed with. I think. Yeah. For some reason, I guess I expected Aaron Taylor Johnson to have like a deeper voice at this point. But yeah, I mean, it was fine.
I feel like the trailer, like people make this criticism all the time, but this trailer, I really feel like it gave a lot of cool things away. Like when he shoots the dude in like
with the arrow. Yeah,
and I was like, that seems like a shocking part that you would want to keep like a secret. Like, you know, and I mean, besides, you know, those complaints, I think, like you said, I do like the action. I do like the way that he moves. I do think he does seem like an animal. Like it's really brutal, and I do like it.
He ripped a guy's nose off.
Yeah. And I'm interested to see it as R, but I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, like Kraven has never been this anti-hero hero type person. You know,
like we've talked about with all these Sony movies that they're doing. It's strange.
It is strange. Like why keep building your villains into heroes where you're trying to get to a Sinister Six, but like, I mean, I don't know. It's just such a weird build up. They're doing.
And also this movie just, not that it's a bad thing necessarily, but this movie just felt like this like a generic action movie, like an Extraction 2, or like
I do want to see Extraction 2.
I kind of do too. But it just felt like, oh, the Russian son who got left for dead by his dad is gonna go take revenge on all of his dad's like comrades, and he's he's wearing the lion that killed him or that like, almost killed him. And it's just, I don't know. It
could look a lot better. But
I'll see it. I'm not excited.
I'm not excited ever for Sony's movies except their animated ones, apparently. But
it was fine.
It was fine.
I think I was like getting into it, and then it was just that lion part that I was like,
damn,
you gotta be fucking kidding me. This is like, why did it have to be that? Real, like, honestly, why did it have to be that?
Because they all have to be super, like someone's got to have a super, they got to be a super vampire or a super venom. And
also like, why does this movie get the R rating and Morbius didn't?
Because I don't know. I think they probably realizing, maybe our movies need R. Maybe that's why they're really flopping. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't say that Venom is flopping.
Well, Morbius flopped like hell.
And unfortunately, Flash is also.
That's
another reason why I don't think we're getting.
No, I don't think so either.
But,
so it's fine.
It's fine.
What I think is a little better of a trailer is Zoey 102. I'll just say what it kind of is going on. Basically, they're putting out a movie for Paramount Plus, and it's just a one-time reunion movie, I think, at least, with most of the cast returning. It's been 15 years. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I was a gigantic fan of this show as a kid.
Same.
I'm still a pretty big fan of it. And I've been wanting a sequel, a reunion for a very long time. And I think this looks pretty good. Like, I get it looks like a very cheesy, like, romantic comedy where they're like, oh, it's a wedding and the two of us are reuniting and we're going to fall in love again. But it's just like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a wedding setting because it makes the most sense for a reunion. And I don't know. I think there's little things throughout the trailer that make it feel like Zoey 101,
Look, I'm glad that you got a lot out of it. Ian told me that it was kind of like Hallmarky rom-com.
Yeah.
And it is, but there's nothing about it that I was like excited about.
If you don't love the characters, then I don't
do
think,
though.
Well, then I'm confused, like why you wouldn't want to see like Quinn and Logan get married and Chase and Michael reunite and Chase and Zoey.
But there wasn't a lot of that, really. Like,
well, it's a trailer. I mean,
but it just focused on like Zoey not being over Chase and
sure.
And it was just it didn't feel very like, I don't think this is going to be that great.
Well, I don't know. Like for me, like the little details.
And there was a lot of
earlier,
like existentialism of like being in your 30s, which like I like.
Yeah.
But it was.
But I liked how on the head like they were with it too. There was like, gosh, you're still talking about high school. Yeah, I was like, yeah. Like, yeah. Why are you still talking about high school? And here's the thing, like I was saying, like little details. I love all the phones, like that. The fact that they're all like futuristic phones, like
sure.
Like I don't know, that's just such a Dan Snyder thing. Even though we don't really want to mention him. I think his shows had some unique technology in them,
like the Pear phone.
Yeah. And I would love to see the Pear like brand come back, but yeah. I don't know. I think in general. It looks like a very fun, reminiscing down memory lane movie.
It looks.
And I think Zoey and Chase will finally get the happy ending with them.
Probably.
Even though we kind of got one in the original finale. But
probably it's fine, in my opinion.
I'm excited too to see like Quinn and Logan get married. I genuinely like happy to see that wedding.
Look, I do love these characters. I don't think I love them as much as you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looked, I wanted to be more excited. I'm not. It's okay. I will watch it. I will watch it. We'll probably review it.
Yeah. I mean, it's Zoey 101, man. That's my show. Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. So then the last thing we wanted to talk about was the Avatar first look. Netflix, had a Tadum event where they announced a ton of things and showed first looks at a lot of things. And this was a very, very brief first look, where we basically got like a 30-second teaser of them showing like each of the logos for the air tribe and the water tribe and the earth and fire.
Oh, to be honest, I didn't see those.
You don't even need to see it because it's such a pointless teaser.
Okay.
But then we got pictures of Aang, Katara, Zuko, and Sokka.
Yeah.
I will say quickly my thoughts on each.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with the actors for Zuko and Sokka. I can live with Katara's. I think she's pretty decent, and I'm actually pretty happy with who they have playing Aang.
Just from the picture.
Just from the pictures.
Yeah.
I think Aang looks pretty close. I don't know. Like, to me, Sokka just looks like way too goofy. I'm not trying to like roast these actors, I guess, but I don't know. Like, that's not.
I don't know. I like the cast for Sokka.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my only thing would, and it's a small thing, is just I don't know why we couldn't shave the sides.
Yeah, and he's just got an interesting face. I don't know. It's just,
I think he looks a lot like him.
Okay. Well, Zuko,
I don't understand the problem with Zuko.
To me,
I think all the cast looks really good, to be honest.
I don't believe that character is like 2 to 3 years older than everyone else. You know? Like
but we just see him with the helmet on.
Right. And maybe I'll think differently once he takes it off. But in that picture, he looks very, very young. Like to me, he looks as old as Katara.
He's got a almost a 5 o'clock shadow.
Can I see it?
Sure. Like, I will say that Sokka does seem at first to look a bit older, but he does look older than Katara, I think.
A little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably being too harsh because
you don't want to watch this.
Yeah, I'm already against this show because it doesn't involve either of the creators.
Yeah.
Who created the original. And live action has just already been a bad road for the Avatar series. So
this is looking better.
It is. Yes, I will say the original actor who played Aang, I thought was pretty decent looking, even though I don't think he's a good actor. So I just hope these kids can act. I guess that's the big thing.
I'm interested to see what Gordon Cormier is gonna act like. Like,
who's that?
Who's playing Aang?
Okay. I like the costumes they're wearing.
Yeah, the costumes are great. The costumes are really great.
Yeah.
It's really hard to like say a whole lot other than if I like how they look,
right?
Other than, but yeah, I kind of like them all. I think actually after looking at all these, the one that I like the least is maybe the Aang.
Really? Wow.
Casting.
Interesting.
The rest of them I kind of fuck with.
Yeah, maybe
like Aang almost seems
maybe he looks a little
young.
too young, right? That like, because he's only supposed to be a year younger than Katara.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know if I believe that, but yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But I think otherwise,
he looks very young.
Sure. But yeah, I guess we'll be following this kind of closely because I'm also a huge Avatar series nerd.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's our topics this week. I don't know if you had anything you watched this week.
I just saw Eraserhead,
movie from the 70s
by David Lynch. If you've never seen Eraserhead, it is something like I've never seen anything like it. Mm-hmm. It's bizarre. I do think it's probably really important. I don't know why to tell you yet right now. I'm going to learn more about it later.
If you're really into horror, I'm sure it's important for horror cinema.
It's kind of horror. It's kind of not. Okay. It's just really weird.
Just really weird. Okay.
And then besides that, I just saw the second episode of The Idol finally.
Oh, nice. Okay.
again,
You're fine. You're
there's
good?
really good things about it
Yeah.
that affect me deeply as somebody who's like done stuff in like music industry, like where I'm like, I really feel things and it hurts.
Mhm.
But then there's these scenes. There's these scenes with Abel
that are like really bad.
that are just, oh God. Like when you were saying like, it can't be the worst sex scene of all time.
Is it? Zack is like dragging his face down now.
I don't know if it's the worst.
It's pretty bad,
but
though. Yeah.
What makes it bad is he's good at a lot of like he does a good job for like most of the episode.
Mhm.
But when it gets to these parts where he's just like, yeah, turn over, girl. Just give me that juicy. Like, I'm just like, it's so cringe. Like, it's so uncomfortable. Like, it's not sexy. It's it's really
uncomfortable.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not good. But
yeah,
there is a lot of compelling, really great stuff about it. It's just those Abel parts are just they're really rough sometimes.
Well, I watched. I really only watched this week. I think besides Secret Invasion, obviously, was the first 2 episodes of season 10 of The Walking Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little weird.
What?
But context. I watched like while they were airing. I watched the first 9 seasons of The Walking Dead. And I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, he really was.
And yeah, I think.
Shit. Sorry.
You're fine.
I think you were still like, I had caught up to like when they were airing things live because I was like, oh, I want to be able to watch it with Ian.
Right.
And I think I don't know if I remember.
I don't think we ever watched, but we, talked about it together.
I definitely got up to the part where like Glenn's face got smashed in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you about that.
Yeah. Like I basically, like season 9, like fully moves on from like the Negan arc and, kind of introduces a new threat, but it doesn't like wrap it up. And so like the threat kind of carries over into season 10. But yeah, I think I was just like mentally at that point done with The Walking Dead because I was like, after Negan, I'm just like, that felt like a final boss. I was just like, I don't think I need more than Negan.
Yeah. Is there like these soldiers in like all white, like
I think that's going to be season 11.
Oh, okay.
But right now we're dealing with the Whispers, which I think it's
Whispers.
They're a cool villain because they get around by wearing like zombie masks, like actual skin. Yeah.
Okay.
And so they whisper in the shadows and like travel with actual zombie hordes.
They whisper in the shadows.
Yeah, I'm just not actually. They don't ever actually say that, but I'm just saying.
Where did that line come from? They whisper in the shadows.
I don't know. I was just saying that they're like whispering, like communicating behind the zombies and
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
They're talking while they're moving with the zombies.
Yeah. They're that camouflage. They're not like all out talking, but like
they're
they
only
whisper.
wearing zombie masks and that's it. And the zombies are like,
yeah,
I don't smell like human flesh.
I mean, they probably smell pretty bad. Like they all look like grungy,
Okay.
But I don't.
That's disgusting, though.
Yeah, no, it's pretty gross. But they're a really menacing villain. But yeah, season 10 starts off pretty slow, but like pretty in a very like artistic like way. Like they're the first episode at least. Like there's basically this satellite coming down. They show at the beginning of season 10 that's like going to cause this big fire in the woods near them.
How do they know that a satellite's coming down?
Well, so they see it enter the atmosphere and it like explodes.
Okay.
And then it like they see like they watch it come down like near where they're living. But like there's multiple different groups at different parts of like they're at different areas of the map basically. And so we basically like see these two and then up to the point where like it breaks in the atmosphere and explodes. And then we see another group and like we see what they're doing until it like explodes in the atmosphere. So we're all seeing what everyone's doing at the same time.
Yeah.
And even episode 2 shows like the Whisperer's perspective before like the explosion thing happens. So it's a very slow 2 episodes, but you get a lot of catching up with characters and a lot of depth of the villains. And,
now here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you say they're 2 very slow episodes, I would say, are they slow for Walking Dead or slow for like normal TV? Because
I think slow for normal TV.
Okay, because I would say that like if it's slow for The Walking Dead, I will never watch it.
Yeah.
Because God, that show moves so fucking slow.
Yeah, well, I'm a little worried too because they've been going 16 episode seasons, and then
how do you have 16 episode seasons and gotten the amount of story that they got through in like 6 or 7 seasons? Like it's like as soon as they hit season 3, they were like, and we're gonna have the same plot line for 4 more seasons.
In a way, kind of. But yeah, like I think this season is 22 episodes and next season's 24 episodes. So there's a lot of story, and I think we're gonna be moving pretty slowly through it.
And I don't think I'll ever watch it.
Yeah. So I'll see if this journey keeps strong, and hopefully it doesn't get to complete crap by the end of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
but that's everything I've watched, and I think that's all we had to talk about today.
That's all we had.
And so, we want to thank you guys for listening to only the audio listeners, because that's all we got this time. But
sorry,
all good. We'll be back with video next week. But if you would like to watch us in the future, we release on Fridays or Saturdays, and those are released on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Podbean. If you want to follow us on social media, we are at LastWeekThisWeekPod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you would like to support us a little further, we would always appreciate a like, a comment, a rating, a review, or a subscribe.
Yeah, everything that Ian said.
Yeah,
or on YouTube too.
Yes, YouTube. Yep. If you type in Last Week This Week all one word, we'll pop right up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, until next time.
Until next time.